started.
Anton Strad 2, okay. Let's see, well, how about knight f3? I guess I haven't tried that in a while. The Reti. Okay, he's mimicking what I'm doing. So probably we'll get a symmetrical English. No. This could be a King's Indian. So I could go ahead and play into a King's Indian with d4 and e4, since he's allowed it. I have a Fianchetto setup against the King's Indian, which I'm actually not too familiar with. It's not what I usually play against it. So I don't know what he's doing in this move here, but if nothing prevents me, I'll probably just play e4 in the next move and then castle. And I'll have a typical King's Indian setup. Typical setup against the King's Indian. And he has to decide, yes, whether to move the c pawn to c5 or the e pawn to e5. So he chose the e pawn. I can castle here, I think. I don't need to decide right away whether to take there or not. Of course, he can take himself and get this kind of setup. So let's see. There's 2 attackers and 2 defenders. So we're okay. I could even kick this knight because I don't really like it to stay there. Where can it drop into? Here, here. I'm sorry. Here, 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 or here. Or then it goes back, back, back. Yeah, I think kicking it is the thing to do. It did open up this diagonal, so maybe there's some some justification in playing like this. So maybe I should play Queen d3 to defend. No, just Bishop b2, I guess. Bishop b2, Rook c1. And if he takes my rook, I'll take back. I could even consider taking back with the queen. It's kind of a funny setup. But it is threatening to take something over here, isn't it? Let's see. So he's attacking the c pawn. And yeah, I don't have a convenient way to defend it. I could play queen a2. If I just push on with c5, takes, takes, and then he has to move his knight again. Come here, he can come into this square. Yeah, this square is available. That's after c5, he could just go here right away, knight to c4. Hitting my bishop. Okay, well, maybe I will play queen c2. Kind of a silly looking move, but it defends the pawn. And the queen can go to b3, I suppose. And in the meantime, oh, that's okay, I guess. I have knight to... yeah, it's a little bit dicey. I have knight to d5 because it blocks the view of the bishop. If he takes, I can take with either pawn. Maybe I would take with the c pawn and then open up the c file to try and get some pressure on c7. My bishop is defending e4. Excuse me. So he wants to trade queens. I don't see any need to trade queens right now. I can bring my rook over and chase his queen away. If the queen becomes a problem. But really I just want to... he really wants to trade queens. Well, okay, what if I play rook c1, queen takes, knight takes? Does he have any good defense? Well, he can bring his knight. He can bring his knight here. So if I take, it brings his knight to a4. Otherwise, on the other line, the knight would be going to c4. So knight a4, hitting the bishop. The bishop goes back to the corner. And where Where's his knight go? His knight just goes back. Okay, let's go ahead and trade. And then still rook c1, hitting the c-pawn. Yeah, I have the advantage of the bishop pair, and the pawns are even. The pawn structure is a little weird. Well, my piece placement is a little weird. So, anyway, my pawn structure is 5 pawns and 1 island and 1 isolated pawn. He has nicely clustered pawns in 3 and 3, but he has a backward c-pawn, which is a weakness. So, you know, as long as things don't fall apart here in the center, rook c1, knight to rook to c1 and knight to b. He's going after my knight. Well, I'm still going to play rook c1. He's going to defend it. So now if I play knight here to attack the pawn, he can attack. He can trade bishops. I don't see any good way to prevent that, though. Oh, he chose not to trade. That's interesting. So this gives up a pawn here. I have to take right away. If I take first, he could take back with the rook, and that might be a bit awkward. This pawn is pinned. He can't really take, because I'll grab his rook with check and then save my bishop. But he can unpin by taking the bishop and taking the pawn. And I'll have an extra pawn, but it'll be isolated, and maybe it'll come under fire. Although not right away. I guess after the exchange here, I'll be hitting his knight, so we'll have to do something about that first. Yeah, I should be okay here. Okay, he's moved his... oh, there's a neat tactic here. I take his bishop, king takes, and then knight here check, forks the king and the rook. So take advantage of his peculiar rook placement here.
Check. Black resigns.
Okay, well, that was kind of a short game, but it had a few points. I think I will upload this and do a post-mortem. See you guys later. Bye.